Welcome to Giant Radio, where we're all about big ideas in sales and marketing and eye-popping discussions with successful entrepreneurs. Turn up the volume and settle in. Now, here's the founder of Giant Jacks Media and your host, Paul Hitchcock.
Hi, everybody. This is Paul Hitchcock, founder and president of Giant Jacks Media. Welcome to Giant TV. This is my channel where I have incredible people on, and Erica is no exception. Erica Leary, who is the coach for coaches doing amazing things. Welcome, Erica.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm excited to get started.
Yeah, this is great. And you and I were talking offline. You got so many things going on. I want to jump into it. And just for the audience here, let us know, what do you focus on? What are you doing?
So the main thing I do is coach coaches. I help, typically most coaches are experts in whatever it is that they do. They don't geek out on the marketing and the business growth like I do. So I help them grow their businesses. Typically they're unknown when they start. So take them from unknown to thought leader. A lot of them don't necessarily see themselves as reaching that point of thought leadership, but I think it's a big part of what coaches need to be doing and the kind of direction they need to be going. So a little bit of teaching and a little bit of helping them get there.
Yeah, I want to jump into that. So, and coaches, you mean any coach, consultants, or what type of coaches?
Yeah, so most of the, any of the business coaches probably know a little bit more of how to do it, but a lot of the health and wellness coaches, maybe financial coaches, they get into it because they're experts in health and wellness or finance or spiritual or whatever it is, and don't necessarily know or love the business side of it. So I help them with the marketing and the business growth, the strategy more than anything, foundations. I'm really big on old school kind of stuff that not so much the tactics, although, of course, we all love them and need them. But for me, it's a lot more about building the foundation so that they get or have long-term, like a real business. So a lot of people get into it and they just sort of build a hobby, or they're like, oh, I get most of my people from referrals, which is great. That's obviously the best form of getting people into your world, but it's not consistent. It's not reliable.
No.
So I help them figure out a way to build those systems and make it a reliable business that just keeps generating and growing year after year.
What when you say foundation, help with the foundation, what is the foundation? Without giving away your secrets, but what do you mean by foundation?
I don't mind. I give it all away. So foundation, I think that a lot of people need to build their personal brand, for starters, their brand, we talk a lot about, and it's kind of cheesy, but know, like, and trust. And people kind of gloss over it because it's so overused. But the problem is that most people don't really get into it. So the very beginning of the foundations is to start building that personal brand. And to do that, you have to put yourself out there. You have to start using your voice. A lot of times you think you know exactly who you are, what you want to do until you start doing it. And then that kind of changes as you go. And so you need to refine that until you're, pretty solid on who that is, who you are, who you want to talk to.
Is that through doing videos or campaigns, or like when you say get the voice out there, is that the content they're pushing out to channels?
Yes, content. I love content. Some people think that you don't need content. I disagree wholeheartedly. I think everybody needs to be putting content out there.
Well, it's marketing, right? For a solopreneur. Yeah. Video. Yeah.
Video is my favorite. I think fastest way to know, like, and trust, because you can see people, you can hear their voice, you can, see them laugh or smile or whatever. I think that's the most, I think that's the best version of it. But some people are, more prone to write or, do audio. So podcasting is a great one. I think everybody should have their one big, at least, piece of content that they work on, whether that is video or writing or whatever it is. Repurpose it. Omnipresence, that's kind of buzzword again, but before it was a cool buzzword, it was still a cool thing to do. Back in the day, a lot of people were very focused on, one channel. And I was like, no, don't be on just one channel. You need to be out there as much as possible. Repurposing is a way to do that without having to, when you're a one-man band, it's kind of hard to get everything everywhere, but
Yeah.
it's still important. You should
Yeah.
still try to do it as much as possible. Outsourcing, I think a lot of people wait until way too late to outsource. You need to have, minimum of a VA, a couple hours a week to be helping you do a lot of this stuff and free up some of your time. So just building the foundations of, maybe not even arriving at the VA side, but knowing what your strategy is, knowing what your end game is, what's your real goal. A lot of people never even sit down and think about what their perfect day looks like, just cheesy stuff like that. But people don't think about it. And then they end up building something that they hate.
Yeah.
And wasting a lot of time.
Yeah.
Maybe we've all been a little bit there, but I think that just building the real foundation of what you want your business to look like. Do you want an empire? Do you not? Do you want to do a one-man show as much as possible? And if so, how much money do you want to make? What that structure is going to look like? Now you can build a 7-figure income with just, one person, maybe a VA or two, but I mean, it's totally doable nowadays. It's just, you need to know what you want that to look like, like you were talking about earlier, having 4 kids. Well, that's probably a big part of what you want to do and where you want to spend your time. And people get into comparing themselves with others and losing sight and losing track of why they're really doing it in the first place. So I think figuring out what that looks like for you is totally important. And the very first thing you should focus on, and then building your entire business around that.
But the way you go from there, but getting clients, for example, so you have the brand, which is great, thought leader, awesome. I agree with you 100% there. Then, but that's great. You're out there, but as well as I do, people aren't just going to, break down your door. Hey, can I work with you over and over? You got to go get them. How do you, do you get into that process of actually going lead generation and doing that?
Yeah. So I love content because I think it's kind of like SEO, search engine optimization, where eventually people will start coming to you. Yeah. We call it attraction marketing or whatever. So if you're doing the right type of content and if you're consistent and putting yourself out there enough, people will start coming to you. But in the beginning, you really need to do the outreach. So we talk about outreach and how you're going to put yourself out there. So not just content, but how maybe you can get content that gets people to react and interact with you and with other people, how to jump into the comments. We're both, I think we met on LinkedIn. That's one of my favorite platforms. So, being active on there is a big part, not posting and ghosting, getting in the comments, all of those types of things. And then moving from comments to DMs to calls, very important. A lot of people, I think, procrastinate in a lot of different ways, but always, moving away from something that they don't want to do. It's uncomfortable. We all think that we're not salespeople, but we are, we have to be as part, we have to be. It's part of our business. And hiring a salesperson when you don't have the flow down yourself and you don't have a proven way that you're closing clients is almost fruitless. It's a waste of money. It's like, spending money on ads, which I love ads, but spending money on ads before you have that foundational flow going is kind of ridiculous. I think that you have to put in the grind and the work, and it's hard. And to me, it's the best thing about it because most people won't do it.
Yeah, no, I know. I agree with you. Those of
us who will
I know.
are really at an advantage because it's grind, it's persistence, consistency. It makes it a very even playing field almost, because it's not based as much on, how much money you have and how much talent you have and all of that. If you're doing the right things, but if you're putting in the work and if you're consistent and persistent and maybe analyzing.
Yeah, no, those are great things. Because
simplifying a little bit, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's a lot about process and identifiable and repeatable processes, right? I mean, you, like you said, you got to show up, you got to have something that is flowing, efficient, makes all the sense in the world to me. When you're working with somebody, then what do? You first start engaging with them. Do you run them through sort of a profile of what they're doing or what they want to do? And I mean, you got to have some intake going on initially, right?
Yeah, I actually have a branding quiz that I give out. It's a quiz and then it's a checklist, so it's a little bit of both. But I have them take that initially, and it gives them a score to know where they're at. Gives me a little bit of a preview to have a starting point with them to talk about, and then I have a little bit more. If I'm working with somebody, I have a whole onboarding process, but the initial conversation needs to start somewhere. So I do like to give my freebie out as something that kind of gives me a little bit of information about them and gives them information about where they're at. And then we can use that as a jumping point for conversation.
Yeah. Oh, great. And I've got to ask you, what do you love most about your job when you're working with people?
I love working with people. I think it's fun. I love what I do. I could do it 24/7. It's hard to stop. I love the whole marketing and business growth, studying it. Like, I totally geek out on that. But my favorite part, I would say, is the aha moments when people are really getting like, oh my God, I could totally do this. Or if they've been in business for a while, which that's like kind of my main people I work with that have been in business for a while, but just can't figure out how to make it really consistent.
Yeah.
So when they finally realize that, I call it the aha moment, but I own a small language school. So teaching English was in my background at some point.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's when, like, I learned about the aha moment. When you see the eyes light up, like, oh my God, I've got this. I love that. It's addictive. That's probably my favorite part.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. And you find that people, is it a struggle for them to do video? Is that a hang up for a lot of people?
It's funny because I think a lot of people think it's so competitive, like, oh, I can't put myself out there. But I just mentioned that I own a language school. And what I used to tell the people learning English was, if you're speaking English, it's because Americans, we only speak one language. Most Americans only speak one language. So if you're speaking English, as horrible as it is, you're already way above them, right? I feel the same way about video. If you're putting video out there, it could be the worst video in the world. And you feel like everybody's looking at your video and everybody's like, oh my God, our video is so horrible. And, oh my God, that pimple on her forehead. But what people are really thinking is, oh my God, she's famous. She's on TV. She has a show. She's on video. Wow. Because in our world, it looks like a lot of people are doing video because,
because we're in the business. Yeah.
We circle those people, right?
Yep.
But most people are lurkers. They're not, even commenters. Forget about doing video.
Yeah.
So to them, it doesn't matter how bad your video is. It is amazing in reality. So yeah, I do find that a lot of people kind of shy away from it. I don't think that it's easy for a lot of people. Even, somebody like me who, I don't have a problem being on video, but even when I first started doing video, like, I look back and I think about all the stuff that I did. Like I would worry about, the pimple on my forehead. Now I'm like, gosh, whatever. You have to get on anyway.
Yeah. But your eyes hanging out from an injury. Oh, there's no big deal. No big deal.
Exactly. I did. I fell down and had like scrapes all over across video, I just went on there. But I think it's like anything else. You get a little bit more used to it. And there's ways to go about it. You can pre-record. You can delete it if you don't like it, if you're pre-recording. There's a lot. You can do interview style, which is very easy. I did that with one of my clients for months, just to get her to do it. I did interview style videos with her for probably a good 6 months so that she would get used to getting on video.
Yeah.
And it's just you have to do what you have to do, right? Like you were saying earlier, failure is not an option. So you need to figure out what's going to work for you. If video is totally out, then, you need to be a writer or you need to be able to do audio, whatever it is, but you have to put yourself out there if you want to start, build, grow, scale a business. You just have to.
I love it. I want to tell everybody listening that wherever you're watching this, because we're streaming this on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, I think others, is we're going to put Erica's information up, links, get connected with her. It's going to be all around the video. And Erica will put up, links to whatever you want in there, certainly LinkedIn. And yeah, you and I could talk about this forever. I want to ask you this last question here is that where are you going like next kind of 2 to 5 years? Anything on the horizon for you that you're really focused on, or any hot button issues?
Hot button issues. Right now I am growing my group. I didn't do group for all the time. So I started in 2007.
Group coaching you're talking about?
Group coaching.
Yeah.
I started back in 2007 and I did one-on-one almost the entire time. And the reason is because I did not want to put in the work and grow my own personal brand and all of that. So I like to say I'm doing it right there with you.
Yeah.
And I would not advise that to my worst enemy. I don't think that was a smart decision, but at the time I wasn't seeing like 5 feet in front of me and I just didn't feel like doing it. So I didn't.
Yep.
I think you mentioned at the beginning is I live in Panama City, Panama, and everything's very casual and relaxed. And I had a lot of time and I travel a lot and blah, blah. But I think it finally hit me that you can kind of have it all. So
Great.
it's one of the reasons we all become entrepreneurs is to have it all. And I just didn't see that as part of having it all. And it finally hit me like, why am I not doing that?
That's great. Excellent stuff. Well, thank you so much for being here. I know you and I are going to continue to talk. Look forward to following your progress, but really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me on here and I look forward to staying in touch.
Absolutely. Okay.